Hi, everyone. You are in for a treat today. I'm here with my friend Lauren Manzke, and we're going to start by telling you the fun story of how we met because it's one of those the universe is guiding us together kinds of stories, like serendipity or like a cheesy 80s movie or something. Like the best kind of cheesy 80s movie.
Very, very much so.
So, Lauren, can you share? Because I think
Oh, sure.
it'll be
I
fun
would
to
love
hear it.
to. I would love to. So I was living in Denver at the time, and I was going to yoga all the time. And I met this girl, and I was telling her I was going through like a tough point in my life and all these things. And she's like, you know what? I have someone for you to see. You're gonna love her. And she told me about Denver Pain and Performance, and she was like, but just see Jamie. She's like, she's the only one I've seen, and that's who I think you'll connect with. And I didn't even really know this girl. And I was like, yeah, I'm taking this advice from someone who I've talked to twice. Great.
So fun.
It is. And I walked in, and it was like an immediate recognition on your end.
Mm-hmm.
On my end, I was like, I'm just here for a massage, you know? And then as time went on, it's really funny because there was a soul recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. And we've been told since by several people that we've had past lives together, and we've been in priestess schools together, and it makes perfect sense. And my friend, you've met Ashley.
Yep.
She was like, and she's more psychic than she realizes. And she's like, you and Jamie look alike. And I'm thinking, no, we don't. I'm thinking like, blonde hair, blue eyes, you know, and she's tuning into something completely different.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's funny because I'm like 5'11". You're like 5'2" or something.
Like 5'4", but I have like,
oh, whoops.
You know, I have the complex of like someone who's taller, I think.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, we don't look physically very similar, but I get, people who have a similar vibration or a similar way of expressing their light do look very similar. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, as soon as she said it, I was like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Super cool.
So I wanted to interview you because you are in a really unique place in your life right now. You're in transition, but I feel like you're just about to soar. Like it's like so close, like minutes even.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know, you're just there. So I'd love for people to hear kind of, what your life was like up until now, and then what's coming next.
Sure. Yeah.
What you think is coming next anyway.
Yeah, I definitely feel we're all on the brink of newness, and we're all on the brink of change. And I think understanding my dharma in terms of what the world needs now has always been a driving force for me in how I want to spend my time here. But even
like how far back are we talking here? Like you were in third grade, like what's my dharma? Or
coloring pictures, thinking what's my dharma.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Actually, I always like to kind of do my own thing a little bit and think and reflect. And let's go to the beginning, because I really feel like after college, I was like, there's so much more. There's so much more to this world, and what do I want to make of it, and what do I want to create from it?
Yeah.
And so, right after college, I couldn't do anything out of alignment with what was calling. And I still, even when I would go off track in one direction, there is something to be learned from those going off tracks. And so I would just look for signs and look for, what is calling me, and where can I do this, and how can I do this? So I guess after college, I went out to Colorado, and I worked at an outdoor adventure camp, and I spent a lot of time in nature.
Mm.
And the connection in nature since then has been super important to me, to the point where now I told you, I was like, now I'm living 70% of my life outside.
Yeah.
I don't know where that percentage came in. Like, there's really no reason for it, but it's the majority of time. And so after that, I was a school teacher for 10 years
Mm-hmm.
in both Glenwood Springs, which was a lot of outdoor time, a lot of outdoor lifestyle there, and Denver. And when I went into the city, I realized I don't feel as much like myself.
Mm-hmm.
So ended up, after teaching, realizing um, I couldn't reach these children without understanding energy and without understanding how my energy affected them, without understanding what they were bringing into the classroom. So we couldn't even learn until we could get into like an energetic alignment.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's where I just started to kind of really discover what I wanted to do. And that was where my Dharma kicked in, of how I want to spend my time from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
So you say on the brink of something, and I feel it too, because I do feel like what the world needs now is, and nurses, some of my friends who are nurses are reaching out like, how can I help myself?
Yeah.
And everybody needs this, and everybody can benefit from understanding energy and understanding self-care in the deepest way and through unseen forces. Um, so I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that. So yeah, it's so funny here. Yeah.
Well, now I'm thinking about, like, what did you learn when you were in the classroom? Because that's part of your training too. Tell me more
Yeah.
about what, like, the energetics of the classroom. Because I'll
Yeah.
forward this video to my sister, who's
Oh,
a
cool.
teacher.
Perfect. Energetics of the classroom. I could not reach kids if they were in another space. And I could feel when we reached this kind of level of community and this kind of connectiveness in the classroom, that's where I could go in and teach. And that's where I could go in, and they had this trust and this understanding, because kids really understand energy. But what I found was that, working with really young kids, their energetic boundaries aren't completely set up yet. And
Yeah.
I didn't have mine set up yet. I didn't
Yeah.
have understanding. So I'm like, why am I so frustrated? And walking into the classroom with my certain energies affected them, and vice versa.
Uh-huh.
And that would create like a ton of confusion without understanding all of it. So
Yeah.
I kind of stepped away from it to learn more about that, because I do want to be a teacher again in some way. In some way, I don't know. I think I would love to start programs for kids that's kind of like your energy school, but with children, and using some of my teaching skills too, to
Mm-hmm.
play games in different ways and experience different energies, and have kind of a understanding of energetic sovereignty, and being able
Mm-hmm.
to identify things. Because if we can get them young, there's a whole new world awaiting, for kids and for the future. I really believe that.
Love it. But what about the teachers?
Mm,
Like, where is the online program that you can now create for teachers?
great. It's a really good idea.
I
I
mean,
guess
teachers are like, they're the space holders, right? They're the queens of the classroom and the kings.
exactly.
And if they don't know
Exactly.
how to be like, create a castle,
Mm-hmm.
how are the kids going to know how to play?
Yeah, completely. And I think that's it, right? Like learning through play, and the importance of play.
Uh-huh.
And I really saw that because I actually lived in Colombia. Well, you know this, but I'll just tell
For
others.
everyone else.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Colombia last year, and what I really saw was giving kids creative expression, and stepping the room for creative expression, and stepping back so much so that they get to do a lot of the teaching, and we're just kind of facilitating.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that a lot in Colombia, kids being able to go outside and have a lot of process time. Um,
Cool.
But yeah, I don't know. And that's a really good kind of nugget to think about, is teaching teachers about energy and understanding of our own energetic boundaries. That would be really fun.
Or even how to read the energy in the room
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
and how to clean the energy in their rooms.
Yes, that would be really neat to be able to have kind of like a maybe daily routine
Mm-hmm.
for teachers. That could be a great start. This is fun.
There's a lot of teachers in my life.
Yeah.
They all, I saw my mother. My mom was a music teacher.
Oh,
And she
really?
would come home exhausted every day from the energy that she was giving to her students. It's a lot of energy that you're giving to students.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to call your energy back, you don't know how to clear things, you don't know how to clear your space, I'm sure it's much harder than it needs to be.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the tools that you've given me and others have
Mhm.
been, they're so simple. They're
Mhm.
so simple. It doesn't have to be this like um, long routine. It can
Mhm.
just be intention,
Mhm.
and setting your intention in a quick meditation, or being able to have your tachyon wands on you and to
Mhm.
facilitate, I think, the amplification of your intention.
Mhm.
So those types of things would be super cool to think about. Yeah,
Mhm.
I love that.
Okay. So tell me, so I know you've been through a lot of spiritual awakening in the last couple of years. Can you give me like, tell me what that was like for you, for everyone else who may be in the process? I think hearing people's accounts of this really is supportive.
Oh, yes, it is. And I meditated for like 2 years, and for like, I would build the clock from 5 minutes to 10 minutes to 30 minutes and nothing. Like, I was like, all right, but I'm going to keep trying, and I'm going to keep at it. And who knows? I think that what it comes back to, Jamie, for me is just divine trust. Like, there is a knowingness that I was always supported, and that
Mm-hmm.
there's always, always going to be guidance. And so I always wanted to tune in with that guidance, and even not knowing how, I still had a massive amount of trust. Even if I'd go to another country, setting, a prayer to my angels, those kinds of things. I always was doing that. Even since a kid, I would pray to my angels, which you saw right away. You went to my feet the first time we met, and you were like, "Oh, what's up with you in feathers?" That's what it
Yeah.
was. And you knew. But I
Yeah.
just always loved angels, and I always loved miracles. Even as a kid, I loved the story Our Lady of Fatima. And so I just wanted miracles in my life. I wanted to cultivate miracles in my life and be able to experience them all the time.
Mm.
And so, as far as an awakening goes, I think asking a lot of questions to guides, and the trust of knowing that there are answers that are waiting. And if you really just give yourself time, and in a time like this, we have no excuse. We can't be hiding behind busy or anything else. Like, this is the time to really tune in
Yeah.
and allow that guidance.
Mhm.
So, as far as an awakening process goes, it really started with meditation, and then going through a tougher time in my life. I was getting Reiki done.
Mhm.
Um, and I was like, what is this? I mean, I was getting it done once a month and noticed an energetic change. My thoughts were clearer.
Mhm.
Um, Everything, my body felt better. And so there was something to it. And then I saw you, and it was like this next level understanding of like
Mhm.
what the possibilities for my life could be.
Yeah.
And I think you saw something that I knew was available and didn't know how to access it. So it was just, again, going back to patience
Mhm.
and what felt good in my body. You taught me so much about the feelings in my body and
Mm.
trusting those feelings. Um, so yeah, I think in Colombia, I started to come home every day and just play. Like, it just became aware to me through play. So I take out my pendulum and learn about that and play with my pendulum, or I would research something and get really into it for for a little bit, and then I'd be like, what's next?
Yeah.
Some of it does feel a little bit like it's somebody else's. Like I was studying certain types of healing modalities, and it felt very like almost like how yoga can feel sometimes, or like a workout where you're like, okay, I see how these motions can help me. At the same time, what's my inner song? What's my inner creative gift? Or
This is somebody else's flow.
Yes, exactly that. So I was finding my own flow, and being a kid, that was a huge part of my awakening. Dancing all the time, lots of what I realized is my awakening happens through doing acts of what I love and having things come online that are important insights for my life. So was it hiking? Was it dancing? Was it meditating? I think it was all of that. And then calling in certain things and watching it happen, and being able to see my guidance, throughout all of it. So it could be like as small as like a butterfly, or as large as like a certain apartment that I wanted. And
tell me more about calling it in. How do you do that? There are going to be some beginners on here who are like, I don't know what that means. Tell me, what does it mean for you?
For me, well, in studying human design a little bit more now, and that really has helped me kind of understand, this is how I can access something that I really am thinking of. But my human design is a manifester. And so knowing that, I think I can kind of just imagine and really create an imaginative picture of something. So even like for me, vision boarding is huge. I have a vision board and a life plan, which is sent to you too. And it's just like with kids, when I was teaching kids, like accessing all senses is helpful for all children, because whatever it is, it's going to gravitate towards, it's calling on spirit to link into something and grab onto it. So whether it's my word, whether it's, telling people like, hey, I'm looking for this and this and this, like the other day I was, before all of this, I was like, hey, I really want a harmonica in the key of C. And someone just comes up and is like, yeah, it's like, so stuff like that, where you let people know, and you share that with me too. So I'm really curious too to look at your Human Design Friends video.
Sandy Freshy, for everyone watching this.
Yes.
Two interviews ago.
Yes, that one, because I think people are linking into human design and understanding that it can help orchestrate what they want. By understanding just how we operate.
How our energy flows. Yes,
how our energy flows. So for me, it's about putting joy in first. Like if I'm manifesting from a state of desperation, that's like, it's not going to work. It's energetically like, no. So maybe after dancing or something I enjoy doing, or taking a bath, just like going on a daydream trip and going into like, ooh, now I see myself in Costa Rica, and I'm, eating a papaya or whatever. And it's wild, Jamie, because when I was coming back to the United States from Colombia, I was imagining myself on top of this mountain. And now I hike this mountain like twice a week sometimes. And it's the exact mountain that I had imagined. And when I got up there, I go up there, and every time I'm up there, I cry because there's something new coming in up there. It's like, it's called Sugarloaf here. Have you been up there?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I've heard of
it. You're going to love it. It's the heart, like on the chakra system, it's the heart of Sedona. And it has so much heart energy up there. It's beautiful.
I can already feel it up there, just hearing you talk about it. I
can't wait to take you up there. But so it goes joyful imagination for me, and then just letting that go, kind of however that is, like a dissolving, or like a you know, just like this with my
Yeah.
hands, or a bow, thank you, and
Yeah.
then just continuing on. That's it. It's like that simple.
So for everyone watching this, Lauren is actually describing the science of prayer, how prayer works in the universe. You create an idea of what you want. It's especially good when you create through joy. It's quite nice. And then you release it to the universe and say thank you. And then the act of saying thank you brings it to you.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's it, right?
Yeah. I remember when you left Denver and you went down to Colombia, how you were exploring, like you saw all the blue butterflies, right?
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things I was asking for was, I really want a 2-bedroom apartment with a balcony, and I don't want to have to pay for it.
Right. Like anyone would think that's a ridiculous prayer.
Yeah.
Like that's unreasonable, right?
Yeah.
And yet you were like, no, I think this is reasonable. I'm going to ask.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting
Mm-hmm.
too, because it's okay to ask. I think I was like always operating before under this belief system that I was like taking from somebody.
Yeah.
But just because I'm divine and human, I'm still in this human body, and I love chocolate and fancy dinners, and I love being in like really nice clothes, and I'm not taking from anyone by having those things.
Yeah.
And I think if you give yourself this understanding that you deserve it, you deserve to experience luxury, then you can have it, and whatever luxury means to you.
Right. Because it is very personal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. I think it
Totally.
changes over time, and that's okay too.
Mm-hmm. What's luxury for you?
I mean, the first thing I thought of was like laying on my leather sofa at home with my blanket.
See, that's it. And you've been doing so many luxurious versions of it, I'm sure.
I have been really in luxury lately.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I love the idea of beach vacations and laying in a hammock. I love laying in hammocks.
Yes.
But I mean, the first thing I thought of was I'm on my couch and underneath my fuzzy blanket.
Oh, love you. I love that. The fuzzy blanket. I got my fuzzy blanket right
I
here.
know, I love your fuzzy blanket.
That's so fun. And it changes moment to moment. And my hope is that during this time, people understand that it's not about, especially in America, like going into third world countries, we've talked about this. They
Mm.
understand the riches of life, the true riches of life.
Mm.
And I'm hearing of people like decluttering and getting rid of stuff, both in the physical realm and as well as, things that just need to go, things that need to go as far as belief systems or aspects of self that are shedding, um, and coming down and back to simple. But like I do like a nice car.
And you have a new one.
Yes, and I have a brand new car. Like sometimes I giggle out loud because I'm like, this is just so amazing. It's
Yeah.
so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think luxury for me is really being outside and finding like the true perfection of nature, and
Mm.
how you can look at a tree and there's no blockages in the energy of a tree. Like a tree that's alive, there's nothing that's letting anything in but love.
Yeah, they don't have any fears and beliefs.
Nope. Yeah. No need to do Heart of Elijah or anything.
Right. They don't need any clearing work.
That's right.
Can you tell me more about, well, let me back up and say, I can feel that your body is teaching right now through the way that you're expressing your experiences. It's really beautiful. And I want to hear you talk more about what you notice about people in Colombia And
Mhm.
what was the richness of life for them?
Yeah. So I think now that I can read people's energy more, um, what I realize is that it isn't about the external for them. It's all about the internal flow of happiness for them. Like there was a guy outside and he literally worked in this box every day, and he would come out and he would see, me and my friend Brittany walking, and he'd come out and he'd be like, "Hola chicas," and he'd be smiling, and he spent his hours in a box, and people are at their jobs there in Colombia for hours and hours and hours on end, but it's about human connection for
Mm.
them. And it's about loving for love's sake. And there's not this kind of like transactional, um, if I give you this, I need that. It's they would come up and give me whatever they had, rosaries, or whoever they wanted to show gifts, and you know and there was nothing that they needed in return. So I think this, because there weren't a ton of like materialistic resources all
Yeah.
over the place, um, they really could link into connecting with each other and the values of family and the values of just um, being there for each other. So I think that's something that we're learning now as a culture, being at home with our families and connecting back to what really matters. So
Mhm. Thank you. Loving for love's sake.
yeah,
Hmm. I'm just
without fear.
drinking in those words right now.
Right, and without fear too. Like I know for a long time I would be like, well, I can give you this, but I have to have this. Like I'm always supported. I'm always supported in spirit.
Mm.
And I think they really understood that there. There wasn't like this fear of lack, really.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because the community would, well, spirit would, but also the community would come together.
Totally. Yep.
Tell me about your relationship with Mary.
Oh. Well, it's really interesting too, like working with energies, and especially in your energy school, it was neat because I called in a group of friends. I mean, I manifested this new group of friends, and they're all amazing. They're amazing healers, and they have 2 feet on the ground as well as connection to divinity. And
Mm.
so we can laugh and like, be really funny about things, but then we're back into like another conversation and connecting with divine realms.
Yeah.
So we tried some of the things that you showed us in energy school,
Hmm.
and we were sending each other all kinds of energies, right? And
Mm.
I find that Mary's energy for me is the most prevalent. Like
Yeah.
I find her all the time, and it's soft and sweet, and um, it's overwhelmingly motherly, to the point where like if I'm upset, I can just call in Mary energy, and my
Hmm.
whole body feels it. My whole body feels well. What happens now is my body rocks back and forth when there's like lots of love flowing through, and
Hmm.
so that I'll experience that when I call in Mary's energy, and
Hmm.
lots of prayers come through in Mary energy. And but we can do that with any energy that
Yeah.
you showed me, like some of the different goddesses, the goddess energies,
Hmm.
and in different points in my life, like there was a lot of Saraswati coming out. There
Hmm.
was a lot of Kali coming out, you know.
Hmm.
Um, so it's interesting. It's kind of like, what I can relate it to is like when you're in like a nostalgic mood and you listen to a certain song, or you're in like a pump up mood and you turn on a certain song. It's like turning on a certain song to kind of guide that energy, and let it flow through you.
Hmm. Yeah. We always are choosing the music that we listen to evoke the feeling that we need to release.
Yes.
So if we're putting on sad music,
Yes.
100% guarantee you need to feel the sadness.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
And it's interesting too, like word frequencies, because I think for a long time I would listen to certain songs and like they would have swears in it or they would degrade women, and that built up so much within my system, and I didn't notice it. And now I cannot listen to that music anymore. I cannot watch certain films, cannot engage in certain conversations, because I know my energy body and I know how to take care of my energy body.
yes. Yes. Yeah.
Because of you.
Thank you. I'm really glad. You're right. It's consumption like anything else. So it's like, do you want to eat fried chicken every meal for the next 3 months of your life? It's going to have an effect on you. First of all, you're going to start to get numb to the flavor of fried chicken. It just gets bland and
Yep.
and then you're just kind of eating it mindlessly and unconsciously.
Yep. And not experiencing all the other experiences that want to come in.
Yeah.
Completely.
I do think that when people, when their vibration changes, they really can't tolerate certain foods, certain music, people, certain kinds of people, certain people with kinds of certain patterns like negative thinking or very critical or abusive. It's just very challenging to be around that energy. And I do think where I'm at right now, I can tolerate almost everything. But I just don't choose to.
Well, and that's,
It's like, it's not my choice.
Yeah, I'm good here. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't have judgment at this point, but I just decide I don't really want McDonald's food.
Well, yeah, and that's part of the awakening too. Going back to that is like, I found it really difficult in the awakening process to not run away. Like I was at a point where I was like, okay, now I understand this. I understand preference, but how do I engage in the world in such a way where I can grow even through being around energies that aren't serving me?
Yep.
And how can I kind of orchestrate, I guess, the experience in the way, and how can I guide people in understanding a possible new way, But that was hard for a little bit, because then I'd get angry. Because that's my not self theme in human design is like, I was actually using these in a meditation. These are Tachyon ones, which we'll go to. But I was using these in a meditation with Shaman Durek, who introduced me to Tachyon. And my whole body was like shaking, like in a kind of like a seizure way, which I asked him, I was like typing in, I'm like, why is this? And he's like, oh, you have a lot of anger that needs to go. But I do feel like part of the awakening process is integration and going into the world and practicing.
Yep.
So practicing your new energy, because I think a lot of people are going to be coming out of this almost the same way like culture shock. We're going to be coming out of this, and there's going to be a new self that's birthed. So how do we engage in a new world?
Like at a small level, like a new self at a small level, like a new individual self, and also the globe, like the world is going to be brand new. It really is. So many layers of self.
I just felt chills. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's something we could just briefly touch on. The releasing, the shaking, the twitching that happens when you go through awakening is completely normal. It's part of the clearing of old densities, and not to worry if that's happening.
Yeah, and you can't Google it. Like,
no. I mean, I tried, and then I just asked, please tell me what the hell this is.
Yeah. Well, and like, I think there's different things for different bodies. So like, it's really personal. Like my feet shake sometimes if there's like a blockage. there's a new energy that wants to come in, and my feet will just like shake because there's something new that wants to come in. If I'm like shaking like a seizure, that means there's a blockage. But if I'm moving back and forth, rocking like this or moving around, that means something that's coming in is clearing, and then there's more of a flow. There's more of a flow of love and divine source. So
cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it was one of the things that freaked me out for sure.
It's still going on. Well, you called it too. Like, we were sitting in Phoenix and you were like, February, you'll be fine. Just like in your Jamie way, like,
oh,
yeah. Yeah. So I'm like sitting there, you're like waiting for February because I'm ready for these body shakes to go away.
Oh,
but
funny.
They still go on, and it's I'm learning more about Kundalini energy through some of my friends, and it's really amazing what happens when you surround yourself with people going through similar or who have gone through experiences, because it just like it amplifies and it speeds up the process of learning and growing. Because now the people that I surround myself with are way eons above, like not above, but they have a really good understanding of energy and how it flows, and they can fill me in on some of their experiences too.
Yeah, you don't have to feel alone in this.
Yeah.
So I think we should wand it up.
You want to wand it up?
Let's wand it up. I have mine.
You have your ones. Yay! All right, so let's talk a little bit about Tachyon Energy, because I was like really drawn to Tachyon when I was in Colombia. I listened to Shaman Durek every day, one of his meditations, and one of your meditations every day, and he kept talking about Tachyon Energy, and I was feeling super called to it. And ironically, the second day I got here to Sedona, I was like, I don't care where I am, I have to find this Tachyon place. So I found a bike, I rode my bike there, and the woman at the counter actually owns my condo that I live in now, and we have such a nice connection. I go to Tachyon all the time. The owners are amazing. So it became a huge part of my life in a lot of ways. But the energy.
What's it called? Tachyon Wellness Center or something like that?
Tachyon Wellness Sedona.
Okay.
They have a great website too. Olivia and Lee, they're the ones who, they have meditations up there, but they're the ones who run it. And then Jody is at the desk. So yeah, it's a really great place here. And you can actually make your own Tachyon chamber as well.
Cool. Awesome.
So let's talk a little bit about Tachyon, because I had to research it a little bit.
Okay.
So Tachyon is 0 point energy. It's the cleanest source of energy for our bodies. So Tachyon energy is 0 point, meaning that we can infuse it with any intention that we have. So we can infuse it with our words. We can amplify anything that we want using this super clean source of energy. And it creates a balance in your subtle energy body. So before we have any physical effects or physical ailments, we can call on Tachyon to create balance. Because we know, you and I know, energy workers know, that it's not just our physical body. We have layers and layers of energy bodies. So we can heal gaps or any attacks, and any attacks on our subtle energy body is not just like a physical attack, but it could be, you know, being in a conversation, an aggressive conversation, or watching something on TV that's aggressive, or, you know, anything, stress, EMF waves, anything like that, pollution. We can call on Tachyon to clean that up. And let's see, I'm just looking through my notes here. So they're made with metal alloys, and they're encased in this velvet casing, and they come in all different sizes. So there's 3 sizes, and these are the smallest ones. Yay! My mom was like, "Are those Lincoln Logs?"
Lincoln Logs.
Yeah. I know. She's like, "I could go get some from the basement." Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I liked Lincoln Logs.
No, I did too. I love them. So I think when we're doing the exercise we're about to do, it comes down to observance, no judgment, no seeking, but just observing through your body where sensations are felt.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we observe them, we can call them in greater.
Mm-hmm.
We can call in more energy and amplify that energy however we like. So we're going to start.
But wait, make sure people know that they don't actually have to have these guys.
Oh, yes. You don't
I mean,
actually
get them if you want them, but.
Yep. Yeah, they will increase the energy for sure, but you can call in the spirit of Tachyon.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll call it in together. So those of you who are watching, we can do this now with or without the wands. I'm going to show you something cool too. I have these fun pants, so I like put them in the side pockets, and that way I don't have to hold them.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can put them in your jacket or whatever you need. Some people like to hold them here at your heart. I just hold them in my hands. All right. So we're gonna see. I'm so excited to do
I know, I'm ready.
because you're so energetically sensitive. So, all right, here we go. We'll say Spirit of Tachyon, and you can just repeat after me. Spirit of Tachyon.
Spirit of Tachyon.
Send sensations of bliss.
Send sensations of bliss.
And delight through my body now.
And delight through my body now.
What do you notice?
Okay, I'm a bad example because I was already feeling it.
Okay, let's do this then. Say thank you, I increase.
Thank you, I increase.
This feeling of bliss by 1,000.
Whoa. Thank you, I increase this feeling of bliss by 1,000.
And where do you feel it?
I feel like my eyeballs are going to start rolling back. So really high up in my crown.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can say where you feel it so that those sensations can latch into where they are going to increase.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, and a lot of times too, like when working with Tachyon, if you're yawning or coughing, it's getting something out that needs to get out, which you knew, but it's good to say.
Yes,
and
it
then,
is good to say.
How about now, try holding the wands to your chest. All right, and we're going to say, Tachyon Spirit.
Tachyon Spirit.
Balance out.
Balance out.
Energy in my body.
Energy in my body.
To remove anything.
To remove anything.
That is leaking my energy.
That is leaking my energy.
And not allowing my energies to be fully restored.
And not allowing my energies to be fully restored.
What do you feel?
Peaceful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I feel peaceful.
So good. So good. Now we'll bring in some feelings of support and safety. So Spirit of Tachyon.
Spirit of Tachyon.
Send feelings of support.
Send feelings of support.
Love.
Love.
And safety.
And safety.
Knowing that I'm always supported here on earth.
Knowing that I'm always supported here on earth. Ooh.
Yeah.
I feel like a snake just wiggled up and down my spine.
This is so fun. This is so fun.
Oh, that feels good.
We'll give you a break. We'll give you a break for all of it to integrate, but
lovely.
Yeah, and it goes along too with if there's any clearing you're doing, again, I'll say just cough it out, yawn it out, so that whatever you're calling in can have a clear way to go after you release. So we can really use these for anything. Like if I'm working out, I'll be like, Spirit of Tachyon, allow all of my muscles to utilize the energy in my body to to grow and expand my muscles. Whatever it is, you can set the intention for it. And
I want to do one.
Yeah, do it. Go for it.
Spirit of Tachyon, please remove all of the dip nail polish from my fingernails now.
Calling on divine intervention.
Oh, man. I'm just kidding. I'll take it off with acetone. I'm thinking, wow, I'm really not going to get a manicure for a long, long time.
I know. Like, you gotta milk it while you got it. So.
Yep. I love this. Okay, next thing.
So we can do this too for immunity. So we can do it right now. So Tachyon Energy.
Tachyon Energy.
Run surges through my body.
Run surges through my body.
To run immunity throughout my body.
To run immunity throughout my body. Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Right arm just went.
I know, it's wiggly. It feels wiggly for me. My whole body's like wiggling right now.
Yeah.
And you can use these with kids.
Mm-hmm.
So children with autism, we can use them in the classroom to communicate safety and love. They're self-regenerating. So if people have kind of a belief system like, oh, do we have to clear this? They regenerate.
No.
Yeah.
You know, I find that my crystals do too. I really don't have to clean my crystals as much as people say that you're supposed to. They seem fine.
I think it goes back to a belief system too.
Mm-hmm.
And these can actually help amplify your crystals. If you
I like to sleep with them. I put them under my pillow. I find that they migrate to different parts of my body in the middle of the night. I'm always kind of like looking for them, like where'd they end up?
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I sleep with them. I haven't slept a day without them since I got them.
Since you got them.
So do you notice anything like if they migrate that you have a different feeling, or notice something different if they go to a certain part of your bed?
They usually are going to places that are where I'm experiencing discomfort. So, you know, part of the healing process, the awakening process, is that old energies are being cleared. And one of the times that we do a lot of that work is when we're sleeping. And so sometimes I'm a little cranky and achy in my bed. So it's usually someplace where the energy is being released. It's often my low back, sometimes my heart, sometimes the back of my head, underneath my head. Yeah.
Wow. That's really cool. It's fun to talk about this.
I know.
And I think if you, and every experience with Tachyon is going to be different. Like, I love flotation tanks. I love meditation. What else? Like Reiki, all of those things, someone's going to have maybe like visual pictures come in, or like sometimes I hear like clairvoyance, or everyone's going to have a different experience personally for what it is that you need to have. So it's fun to chat, I think, about how we're all kind of having individual Tachyon experiences.
Yeah, so you can get these on the website, or like Lauren said, you can just call on the spirit of Tachyon, call on this energy. When I was researching it to find out what the hell it was,
I know.
what I read, or maybe what was told to me, was that when the Godhead, or when this initial universal energy is creating, the energy comes out first as Tachyon energy, and then turns into, you know, whatever else it's being turned into. So its first emanation is Tachyon.
Exactly. And we only had a mathematical way to prove it in the 1960s, which is really recent, to prove its existence, to mathematically show that. But it moves faster than the speed of light. And the Greeks, I think, were the first ones to name it, and it means swift energy. So it does move really fast. So your manifestations will happen really fast. So, and yeah, I mean,
so careful what you're manifesting.
Yeah. Well, and they really make you mindful of your thoughts. They make you mindful of your words.
Yep.
It's kind of like how people get something tattooed on them to remind them of something. Like my wands remind me to have a lot of intention behind my thoughts and my words.
Mhm.
But so you can get these. Actually, if you want to go to Tachyon Wellness Sedona, I have a coupon code you can use and get 10% off. It's my personal coupon code, and
Okay.
it's my new business name. So it's Light of Grace, all lowercase. Yeah. It's so exciting. And you
Okay,
can
writing
get,
that down. I'll
yeah,
put the
and you
link to
can
the
get
store here.
10% off of anything, services, wands. But these are juniors. They're 140. No, these are 179.
Mm-hmm.
95 powers, which are a little bit bigger, are 199.95, and then megas are 239.95. But
Yeah, I don't even see why you'd need bigger ones. I mean, it's the same energy.
it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot, and I find that any energy worker who's gotten them has just like rave reviews about their healings and what it's amplified for them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I love having these on during Reiki sessions.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, I sometimes with clearing, I'll put them on my. I like to put them in the crease of my hips.
yeah, me too.
For whatever reason, I just stick
Yeah.
them right there, and then
It's grounding. It feels grounding to me. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I think we've talked about this before, but I feel like they have a polarity, so they feel different, like in the hands.
Yeah, they do. They do. And there's a couple energy workers who've noticed the same thing. I personally haven't tuned into that, but some
Mm-hmm.
people will cross them, and so then and hold them like this.
Ooh, that feels
And
nice.
doesn't it? Yeah, it feels like a very connected energy. It feels very whole and complete.
It
Yeah.
makes a flame.
A flame.
Can you see the flame?
You can actually see it with your mind's eye, huh?
Mm-hmm. It makes a flame. It's like a little campfire.
It does.
Well, that's how I see it
Like
anyway.
Lincoln logs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels really nice to me. Yeah,
Oh,
it feels warm.
wow. That's super cool. Okay, I'm going to play more with these things. I mean, I have just been sleeping with them every night, but
They're
start
amazing.
doing all kinds of fun stuff with them. Would you send me that list of the different commands, so I'll put it in to the Facebook post so that people can
Sure,
try the different things?
sure, of course. Yeah, those came from actually, and obviously we can make up what we want. Those came from Shaman Durek.
Okay.
And then I have others too, but I think those were nice because they kind of encompass a lot. So I'll definitely put those in the notes for you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm all juiced up now and I'm experiencing 1,000 times bliss. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love you so much. Thank you for chatting today and always. Yes.
I love you.
Love you too. Okay. Till next time.
See you soon.
Bye.